My strategy going into this is to play it very slow, play around the kick, don't let him dot me, and let dampening ramp up. You can see I'm not approaching him at all here. I'm just sitting on this box waiting for him to compromise his position, and once he gets in range, I will start throwing my barrages purely just to build up arcane tempo. You can see he ports, and then he kind of realizes that he should maybe play with a Fell Hunter. So he summons a Fell Hunter, but it looks like he summons it there. So he kind of made an adaptation mid-duel. I'm just going to continue to stack my barrage things. I'll actually dispel my agony here, but you want to be really careful when you dispel, when you use remove curse, because you don't want them to use like the amplified version. So since I'm behind a box here and my goal is to kind of just lean for a little bit, aka just kind of sit behind the box, I opt to use my remove curse to get rid of the agony. Now, what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to look to send my first setup here. And what this setup is going to look like is it's going to look like I'm kind of CC on the pet, either a root behind the pillar or a ring behind the pillar, and then I can set up a DB sheep. I wouldn't want to just send a raw DB sheep on the lock here because he has the pet. So that's why the pet is so hard to play around. You can see he kind of like starts moving his pet. That first ring was a test to see if he would let his pet just walk into it. Kind of pulls it back, so I canceled it. And then now I root it so that I can guaranteed get the ring on it. Then I go for the DB sheep. So this is where he trinket kicks me. So if you guys didn't know, trinket, you have a pet, it also is going to get your pet out of CC. So he trinkets his pet out and trinkets out of the DB himself to counterspell me. So I opt to just go back into waiting mode because I know that if I try to force stuff right here, it's not going to be very good. So I'm just going to play it slow. Like I said, my strategy is to just not get dotted, wean. And since he just committed his trinket there, I'm going to be able to just get another setup here as soon as my root is off cooldown. So you can see here how I avoid getting dotted as I'm just continuously barraging the pet for movement speed, barraging him if I can to slow him while getting movement speed. Since he does port here with soul burn, he gets the freedom effect. So what I do is I spell steal it off, and that's actually going to give me freedom. And you can see I freed him out of his curse of exhaustion that he puts on me. And I'm able to shimmer back to the other pillar now and just completely wait out this cooldown on my root. So now I root the pet, and my first global here that I do is I do Magi into Tempest, and I'm going to start bursting now. So what I want to do is I want to make sure I walk out of line of this pet. So that's exactly what I do. I spell steal the Nether Ward. I'm not getting juked here. I wait, then I counterspell on the sphere. Now I start loading up the Surge. I have to be a little bit careful here because the pet's out of CC. It could kick me. I trinket the coil. The coil is going to be the best thing you can trinket versus affliction because the only type of hard CC they really have is Shadow Fury, which is easily avoidable, and Fear, which is also avoidable. But coil is the one that you kind of can't avoid. It does have a travel time, so you could meld it, but I was too slow right there. So you can see how I avoid damage here just to continue to break down here. So I have Alter up at 100 HP. I Alter back, get coiled. I blast wave that drain soul, and that also puts him in a really bad position. The best type of position that you can have is when you're standing on this pillar and he's far away and you have the power to just keep out. I can just stand right here and I can just peek out at will and get a global on him whenever I want. So that's exactly what happens here. I opt to just temp the rest of this damage. Maybe not the highest value temp, but I think I do actually get like a decent heal from it. So I dispel my agony, re-barrier here. Now I'm going for a Ring of Fire, and Ring of Fire is kind of how you're gonna... Ring of Fire plays a big role in this matchup. Like I said, you want to play it very slow. So since he actually kicks it and he has no reflex, I just opt to Kashi. There's no way to stop this. He could port it, I guess. So now I'm just waiting out the DR. I refresh my tempo here on the pet, and I go for a Ring of Fire to start the interaction. I have no arcane charges, so I have an orb here, and I hit 2 targets, so it should build me up 3 stacks here. I dot him with Nether Tempest. And now my goal is to wait for him to get a little bit closer, and then I'm going to drop some mirror images on him and kite him away. And let the Ring of Fire and Tempest do all the work here. So I don't have a lot of defensives. I don't have Alter, I don't have my barrier up, and my temp is on cooldown as well. I'm actually kind of prone to taking damage here, so I just let my dots do the work. So I drop the mirrors on him. The mirrors start, slowing him as he chases me out into the middle. The Ring of Fire is refreshing. The Nether Tempest is doing a lot of damage as well. And you can see he's just rotting down just to the dots. He pops his Hellstone there. I'm just peeking out on this pillar. I Ring of Frost here because what I want to do is I want to use my barrier and then opt to Shifting Power to get another one. The barrier is going to be very OP during this. If you guys didn't know, the prismatic barrier, it reduces all magic duration by, I don't know, I think it's 25%. And it also reduces, or it just basically just reduces all magic effects by 25%. I think that's the number. It's very OP into other casters. So again, I'm going for that Ring of Fire. Knock him into it with Blast Wave, Tempest. And then now I can actually do a little bit of damage because I can just, all I have to do is just let the dots do the work and just get a missiles cast as I run around the pillar to avoid the pet. He actually ports on top of me here. I'm using my Palm Arcane Blasts. Just to break down why, like, so you see here, I do this 1 missiles, but the pet is on me, so I cancel it pretty quickly. The reason I did that is because when you clear casting, or when you consume a clear casting missiles like that, you get this Nether Precision buff, and this makes your Arcane Blast do a little bit more damage. So now I have that buff for my 2 palms. So now I can just peek out, Palm double Arcane Blast. He's going to get a dot on me here. So this is the first dot, set of dots that I have on me. So now I need to be a little bit careful. Temp first would probably be a good idea into barrier. So I temp here, dispel my agony, wait for the temp to pop, and then I barrier. Now the agony is falling off me. I let the temp heal me as much as I could. Temp is actually not affected by dampening anymore. And then I pop my barrier. Now any reapplied dots will be shorter. And I'm taking 25% less damage with these dots on me now. So I realize I need to DB sheep him here, but I actually just applied another Tempest, so I'm kind of scared. You'll see me actually blink. You can see I'm rotting down. Look at the barrier. Hold on. Right here. So I barrier and then look. Oh, it actually gets purged from the pet. That's kind of crazy because considering I have 3 stacks of tempo here, there's like a 1 in 4 chance that actually happened. But I actually did forget to rebuff during this duel as well, so I don't have my buff active. Not my fault. So if that does screw me a little bit, you'll see me blink displace just for the heal. I wouldn't do this if I only had 1 shimmer charge, but since I have 2, I shimmer displace and that's going to heal me for a little bit. Now that Nether Tempest falls and the pet is stacked, I can double DB ring. Somehow that DB hits the Dark Clear over there too, that's crazy. And since the RNG on the DB pathing doesn't put the lock into the ring, I have to Blast Wave him into it. There's like a little delay, by the way, if you didn't know, with Blast Wave. So you see how like there's a delay where it won't break ring. So you see how he's not quite in there, and then I'm not actually Blast Waving right away. I do it about now, and then it puts him in there. So there's a little bit of leeway there. Now since I have his trinket in 2, so he can't trinket out of this, I have to just get my surge off here. Because I know I can get a Ring of Fire off later. That's what I do now. Ring of Fire while the pet's still out of line. Now I barrier. That barrier gold is actually pretty important because Drain Life, when Drain Life is on you and you have no absorb, it's gonna do a lot of healing. But if you barrier, then the Drain Life isn't able to get the full heal off. I don't know how that works, but basically if someone's Drain Lifing into a shield, it doesn't heal them for as much as if they're Drain Lifing into you without a shield. I shield right here, and then I opt to come out and kick that. Missiles, blink, execute barrage.